I thought we would talk about these 7 things. And the first one is setting the stage. And then we're going to talk about curriculum, and then lesson planning, then activities. Like, okay, so you've got your curriculum and your lesson plans, but like, what do you actually do? We're going to talk about that. Storage and organization. And I put that in there. It doesn't seem like a crucial part of teaching, but it is one of the most frequently asked questions that I received, is like, how do you deal with all this stuff? Because it seems like the younger the child, the more stuff that you have to have, because we know that kids learn through hands-on. So we're going to talk about storage and organization, and then the dreaded assessments. I know. And then, because you're going to be completely exhausted after you do all of these 6 steps, you're going to need some substitute plans because we all know that people who work with little kids get sick like 10 times more than anybody else, because we're exposed to all those germs from all those little kids. So sub-plans are a must, because you can't just call in somebody to your classroom and have them take over, right? I mean, it's a intricate balancing act when you've got little kids in your class, so you have to be really detailed. So I also have in the Teaching Hacks free ebook, there's a list of resources at the end that you can click on, and it'll just take you right there, so you don't have to read through, every portion of the document to find that one thing that you're really looking for. We'll be dropping links here in the comments tonight, and my comments are frozen. I'm so sorry, but Tom will be fielding questions for me. Pam has the Teaching Hacks, and she's read it several times. It's a helpful tool. Thank you so much, Pam. Yay! Wonderful. So the first thing I want to talk about is setting the stage. And I'm going to be a little unpopular here, but I've never really cared about being popular, so I'm not worried. But I really wanted to get this out there, because one of the things I get asked most often is, I'm trying to set my classroom up for the year and I want to make it beautiful, and we spend a lot of time and money, energy making our classrooms so special and cute. And if that's something you like to do, that's great. But I just want to put this out there that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your room looks like. The only thing that matters to the parent of a child is you. They're going to give their baby to you on the first day of school and trust you with their baby. So the words that come out of your mouth when you meet the parents are the absolute ultimate #1 thing that you should be focusing on, instead of what your classroom looks like. Because it's all about you and the parent and the child establishing a relationship. So the beginning of the year, it's really tough for teachers. We're very stressed out. So if you want to start off next year smooth sailing, you're going to want to set the stage. And one of the ways I do that is to create a welcome to school. I don't know, there's so many different names for it. I'll just list all the names I know. Orientation, meet the teacher, back to school night, you name it. It has many different names in many different places. But basically it's you meeting the parents and talking about what's going to happen on the first day of school, or what school is all about. So whatever you call that. One of the things that I experienced in the classroom that was always a challenge was these meetings, because you have 8 million things you have to tell them, right? Everything that they need to know that's important. And then you've got to answer their questions. And then you've got to deal with all these people in the room. Quite often they bring a lot of people with them, so you've got way too many people in a small space. It's really difficult to manage. You're nervous. You want to remember everything. You're always going to forget something crucial, like the year that I forgot to tell parents when school was over. Yeah, true story. I was at school at 5:30 in the afternoon on one of the first days of school because I forgot that very crucial piece of information. So I have this thing that I call parent orientation, or whatever you want to call it, PowerPoint templates. So all the hard work is done for you, but you put in the specific information. So if you want it to look cute, and you don't have the time and energy, I've created some of those. Now you can also create your own, because I always created my own when I was in the classroom. It's just a PowerPoint. But if you don't have the time or the energy to create your own templates, I have a whole bunch of templates a parent orientation page. There's a link in the comments coming, and it's also in the Pre-K Teaching Hacks document. So you can go and grab one of those. All you have to do is put in your own information. So all the pieces that you're probably going to want to talk about are in there. You just add the times or the specific info. And then there's blank slides too. So if you need to add something special, like if you have something that not everyone else has in your daily routine, or you need to tell them something special, you're a special type of school, or you have certain programs or whatever, there's blank slides for that too. So this takes a lot of the stress off of you, having this done and ready so that your presentation flows. You can focus on your connection with the parents. You won't forget anything important, and it's all done for you. You just put in your own information. So that's the first thing. So you have this Meet the Teacher template already done for you. Whether you make your own or you use one of mine, that's your choice. I always made my own stuff because I'm so picky. Then you don't just want to present all this stuff to parents, because they're going to be like on total overload, like, oh my gosh, the beginning of school, I got to get this, I got to do that, I got to do this. So I have it in a printable format too, that's like a handbook. It's a black and white printable parent handbook, frequently asked questions handbook, whatever you want to call it. It goes along with the PowerPoint template, because you want to have that visual presentation for parents, and your visual learners will like that, and it'll be a great support for you during your presentation. But you also want a printable that they can take with them, so those parents who want to actually have a copy of that. And it's also great for parents with joint custody, or both parents couldn't be there, whatever. Everyone is on the same page. So I have a printable frequently asked questions thing that you can actually put your own information into, just like the PowerPoint. So those two things are going to really help your year start off on the right foot, because it's not about how your classroom looks. It doesn't matter what bulletin board border you have, if you have matching this or that or the other thing. It's not about how cute your classroom is. It's all about the words that come out of your mouth and the connections you make with kids and parents. So we've got those two resources linked in the comments there. That's setting the stage, all right? I see we have some questions coming in. Tom's going to feed those to me. My comments have frozen up again. I'm so sorry. Lori just downloaded it today. Well, hey, Lori, I'm saving you a lot of time. I'm just talking your way through it. Thanks so much, Lori. All right. If you're just joining us, that's okay. You didn't miss anything, because you can go back and watch this from the beginning as soon as I'm done talking tonight. So it will be available for you here to watch in its entirety on the Pre-K Pages Facebook page as soon as the live broadcast is over. So you can come back and catch that first part. So the next thing I want to talk about, we're talking about 7 pre-K teaching hacks, and it's a free ebook that I created, and I'm just kind of walking you through it. It kind of takes all the best parts of pre-K pages and puts them into one easy to navigate document, so that you can have everything at your fingertips instead of looking for it. So the next thing is like a curriculum pacing guide. And the reason I included that is because, like I said, it's not about how your classroom looks, but it really is about you carefully and intentionally long-term planning, so that you can have a deep understanding of how young children learn. I'm sorry, Tom, I didn't see that. If you're having connectivity issues, just refresh your browser. Refresh your browser. Okay. So we're going to be talking about long-term planning. So having a clear understanding of where you're going with your kids is going to really help you. It's super useful to have some kind of pacing guide in place. Otherwise, you're kind of driving the bus with a blindfold on, and you're trying to get somewhere. It's not really safe, and it's not really the best way. So now that you've mastered, meeting the parents, let's look at your curriculum, your pacing guide. And this is where I see a lot of teachers make that misstep. Our classroom looks great. We've got our centers. Everything looks good. We've got our, our parent orientation. Oh, Pamela loves the pacing guide. Yay, Pamela. Thank you. We've got our parent orientation and our parent handbook, and all that stuff looks great. But now, what about the meat? What are we actually teaching the kids in the classroom? So Without a solid curriculum pacing guide, you're just driving that bus blindfolded down the highway with no particular destination. So think about the skills you have to teach and when you're going to teach them. So you can do all this. You can make a spreadsheet or Word doc, whatever you work best in, Google Drive, whatever you want. So you're going to take time to really carefully plan out your year. Now you have to follow the interests of the kids too, but you can teach your skills on your pacing guide with any, if they're interested in buses or dinosaurs or whatever, you can use those, their interests, but you need to know where you're going as far as the skills go. So a curriculum pacing guide takes the guesswork out of planning. It includes literacy skills, math skills, science skills, everything for the whole year. Now you can totally make your own. You can sit down on your living room floor over the summer and spread out all of your resources and tools that you have to use, your requirements, and you can make your own. And it will be so helpful to you once school starts. I also have one that I've created. If you'd like to use mine as a guide to help you create your own, it's free. It's called the Teaching Trailblazer. There should be a link in the comments. The Teaching Trailblazer is a 50-page free document. So you're going to want to grab that. You can see the way that I teach the skills throughout the year. You don't have to do it my way. That's absolutely not what it's there for. But if you'd like to see it, if you need to look at one to get an idea of what I'm talking about, an idea of what yours might look like, then you can certainly go ahead and do that at teachingtrailblazer.com. It's totally free because everybody knows the teacher's best friend is free, right? Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. All right, Tom says we have some comments coming in. Explain the Trailblazer. The Teaching Trailblazer is a 50-page free document. It's a curriculum pacing guide for pre-K. So if you would like to see the order and sequence in which I teach specific skills throughout the school year, it walks you through an entire school year of the order and sequence in which I teach the different skills. So you can look at it as a guide to create your own or get ideas. It's totally up to you. Why is it named the Trailblazer? That's a good question. I created a line of products called Trailblazer. So they kind of blaze the trail through teaching pre-K. See, that was the idea with that. So the Teaching Trailblazer is kind of like the flagship, and then you'll find the other things that I've created, like my fairy tale trail guides and my nursery rhyme trail guides. So they're all kind of blazing the way and guiding you through this world of pre-K. So the Teaching Trailblazer is the flagship one. It's 50 pages and it's free, curriculum pacing guide. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is lesson plans. Ooh, who dreads Sunday night? Is Sunday night when you do your lesson plans? I remember, so the reason I put this in here was back when I was a Head Start teacher many moons ago, Sunday night, I just absolutely detested Sunday nights because Sunday night was when I had to pull out my big, thick lesson plan binder and I had to sit down and handwrite my lesson plans. Now, this is before most people had the internet. I mean, I think it existed, but nobody I knew had it. And I sat there and just said, why does this take so long? Half of this stuff I write over and over again every week. It's a waste of my time. When are they going to invent something better? And then everything exploded as far as technology, and now you can. So what I've done is create a template that you can fill in. So if you're looking for a lesson planning template, I have those. You can also make your own in Word or PowerPoint or Excel or whatever you're most comfortable with. But my suggestion is create a template that all you have to do is go in and change the information to match that week. So you're not reinventing the wheel. I think that's where a lot of us waste a lot of time, is reinventing the wheel. So if you want to save weeks of time, get those weeks of your life back, like I wish I had when I was teaching Head Start and handwriting my lesson plans every week, then you need to make some kind of electronic template that you can use week after week and just change out the pertinent information every week. So You create this lesson plan template, you're going to use it over and over again. It's going to save you tons of time every single week. So I have one that you can use to customize and enter your own information, or you can create your own. So then next year, when you open up your plan book, you're going to have a lot of the work already done for you. You're going to save even more time by then taking those templates and then updating the information. So a super time saver is to have a lesson plan template, an electronic lesson plan template. And my super favorite thing to do is use Google Drive, because you're always going to forget your flash drive, or your flash drive is going to fall in the toilet, or something's going to happen to your flash drive. So Google Drive is my absolute best friend because you can access it from anywhere, and you don't have to worry about where your flash drive is. I remember one time I was writing curriculum for my school district, and I had this little itty bitty flash drive, and it was on the lanyard that I wore around my neck, and somehow something happened and I lost the flash drive off my lanyard, and it had weeks and weeks and weeks of work that I had on that drive. And it was only by pure chance, or if your computer dies, that's for sure, it was only by pure chance that some kid found this tiny flash drive in the hallway, took it to the office, and somebody in the building recognized it from being around my neck all the time and brought it to me. And I was like crying. I was such a mess. So definitely use Google Drive. Save your plans there. You can access them anywhere. Because if you're at home and you left your flash drive at school, you're going to need the lesson plans. It's just a mess. So definitely check out Google Drive. It's free. It's free. If it's free, it's for me. All right. Lesson plan templates. All right, next one, activities. Okay, so we've got the Meet the Teacher PowerPoint template. We've got the Parent Frequently Asked Questions Handbook, whatever that's called. You're starting your year off right. You've got your curriculum pacing guide. Your year is going well. You've got your lesson plan template. Things are going well. Now, what do you actually do with the kids? Because everything in lesson plans looks great until you get it in front of the kids, okay? So what do you do about activities? All right, so all of the activities that I have at Pre-K Pages, most of them, are going to live on the themes page, and that link is coming in the comments. Let me see if I can get my comments to refresh here. I'm going to try something. I'm going to see if I can refresh, because I know if I refresh this, no, he says don't do that. All right, well, my comments are frozen, so sorry about that. All right, so activities. If you're having connectivity issues, remember, just refresh your browser and you'll come right back. The connection here is strong, and you want to check your connection on your end. So refresh your browser, refresh. All right, so your activities live on the themes page. So if you're looking for activities for certain themes that you might do in the classroom, everything from apples to dinosaurs to zoo to anything that you might do in the classroom, even Mother's Day, all of those activities live on the themes pages at Pre-K Pages. So because activities are like the most time-consuming part of teaching young kids, coming up with the actual activities that you're going to use in your lessons. We know that little kids learn from the concrete to the abstract, and this means stuff, hands-on stuff. How do we get hands-on activities for our kids? And like I said, I don't care about being popular. I never have. I've never been popular, so I don't care. But kids don't learn from worksheets, okay? Flat is boring. 3D is fun. They need hands-on, three-dimensional activities. So, I'm just putting it out there. There is no such thing as morning work in pre-K. There is none. Morning work, whatever that's called, those worksheets that kids get when they come in called morning work, that is not for pre-K. And it shouldn't be for kinder, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and on either, but that's a whole other story. So no morning work. You want hands-on stuff. Nothing's going to get kids to act out and misbehave quicker than a flat, boring worksheet. So where do you get these activities? They live on the themes page. They're just right Goldilocks activities, right? They're those kind of activities. They're not too hard. They're not too easy. Because if you know if they're too hard, your kids are going to get really frustrated, right? And if they're too easy, they're going to be even worse, bored. And we all know what bored little kids look like. We don't want that, right? So I know that I'm preaching to the choir here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't already on the same page with me. So these Goldilocks-like activities live on the themes pages. What have we got, Tom? If you're just joining us, tonight's topic is 7 pre-K teaching hacks. Simple ways to save time and get weeks of your life back. Okay, and we just finished talking about the 4th teaching hack, which was hands-on activities. And if you're just joining us, you can watch this from the beginning. As soon as I'm done talking tonight, it'll be ready for you on the replay right here on the Pre-K Pages Facebook page. So there's activities there on the themes pages for kids who don't know the alphabet, kids who need to work on rhyming, all the phonological awareness skills, math skills. All your literacy and math small group activities are going to live on the themes pages. So I hope that makes you feel better to know where you can find those things. So we've talked about Meet the Teacher orientation, whatever you want to call it, PowerPoint template. We've talked about the parent handbook, printable parent handbook that you can edit to personalize. We talked about lesson plans and hands-on activities. And now we are going to talk about storage and organization, the big hot topic, right? So now we've got all this stuff because little kids learn through hands-on learning. What about all the stuff? So I just want to put this out there. Did you know that some teachers lose 30 minutes or more of instructional time every single day because too much time is spent searching for things that are necessary for teaching? That's a fact. Lots of instructional time is lost every single day. So if you can create a really well-organized and fully functional classroom environment where all the materials necessary for teaching and learning are easily accessible for both you and the kids in your classroom, you're going to have a stellar year. And now I wrote this part before the election heated up, so I had no idea this was going to happen. So I talk about how I'm running for president on the early childhood platform in the Pre-K Teaching Hacks ebook. So download a copy and see what I have to say, and then let me know if you're going to vote for me. But seriously, storage and organization are such important parts of being an effective teacher. So you don't want to spend all your time searching for stuff, because that's time that you could be spending at home with your family or doing something for yourself. And searching for stuff is just very frustrating for you. It's just gonna save so much time to get organized up front. So here's the bottom line: the less you have, the easier it is to organize. I know that's hard when you have boxes and boxes of toilet paper tubes in your cupboards, and I know you do. Admit it, okay? It's hard, but I just subscribe to that theory. If I haven't used it in a year, it's gone. And you know there's always another teacher down the hall. He'll take it off your hands. But the less you have to organize, the easier it is going to be. And, you know, we usually have a big fat budget in our classroom of 0, right? So we feel deprived. So we save stuff. And then that becomes a whole thing. And I have a garage and a shed to prove it. But all this stuff actually slows you down and holds you back, right? So lighten the load, please, and you'll find more time for teaching and more time for learning. Quite often I find things, and let me know in the comments if this has happened to you, I find stuff in my teaching cabinets that I haven't seen in years, and I didn't even know it was missing. And I'm like, ooh, this would have been good last week. You know, I didn't even miss it. I didn't even know that I had it. So you can find some of my favorite tips for storing and organizing, all kinds of storage and organization hacks and tips at the organization link that's coming in the comments. And these are just a collection of all my favorite organizational ideas over on the Pre-K Pages blog. All right, that brings us to number 6. All right, so we're talking about 7 pre-K teaching hacks, simple ways to save time and get weeks of your year back. I'm Vanessa Levin from Pre-K Pages, and we're on hack number 6 right now. If you're just joining us, you can watch this broadcast from the beginning as soon as I'm done talking tonight. It will live right here on the Pre-K Pages Facebook page. So the next one, number 6, assessment. Assessment. Let me know in the comments how you feel about assessment. Now, if you work in a utopia, right, where you have, like a very small class and you have no rules and regulations to follow and you don't have any formal assessment, then bless you. That's wonderful. But so many of us and so many of the teachers that visit Pre-K Pages have assessments for their assessments and then some more, because these federally funded and state funded programs require assessment as part of the funding process. So that's why we have all this assessment in Pre-K. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's the way it is. And so most of us have to do them. Otherwise, our programs wouldn't be funded and then we'd be out of work. But I will say this, is as unpleasant as assessment is, okay, as unpleasant as it makes us feel and our feelings about it, continuous, ongoing assessment is going to allow you to make informed instructional decisions, okay? These decisions are going to help your students succeed and save you from wasting time in the classroom. So if you're in a program where you've got standards and assessments and all this stuff, then this part's definitely something you're going to want to pay attention to. So you're going to collect this data on student progress. And that data that you record and you're getting from your kids, don't get bogged down in the collection process, because the collection process, the collection of that data is what we dread the most, right? Sitting down with little kids and asking them, what letter is this, is unpleasant, because we know that's not how little kids learn, okay? So it's unpleasant, but if you make the process of assessment fun, make it easier, streamline it, then you can take the data that you collect and use that data to inform your instruction, okay? So remember how I talked about driving the bus during the curriculum pacing guide, the teaching trailblazer section that we talked about? Assessment isn't just something we do because we're told to do it. Good teachers are always assessing their students through observation, right? We know where kids are developmentally because we observe them every single day. Real assessment drives instruction. So let's assess what our students do know so we can better understand what needs to be taught. And again, I don't like assessment, but it's something that most of us have to do. And if you don't have to do it, that's great. So I want you to think about the assessments that you use. If you could use some help streamlining the process, or if you could use some help with the data collection process, I do have a Pre-K assessment packet available at Pre-K Pages, and that is coming. The link to that is probably coming in the comments very soon. You can certainly create your own assessments, but I think it's really all about the collection process. If you can streamline that, make it easier to assess, then it's not quite as painful. So if you're looking for something like that, I have that at Pre-K Pages. You can make your own, of course, tailored to your own program. And then there's also a great electronic assessment tool there at that link as well through ESGI. If you're looking for something completely electronic, my assessments are the kind that you would print off and then assess by hand. So I'll let you look at that if you're interested in having an electronic assessment. Lori does 136 observations per year. So Lori is the perfect example of somebody who has assessments for her assessments for her assessments. So Lori, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I'm sure there's lots of people who can commiserate with Lori. I know plenty of teachers out there. And then I hear from teachers who say, assessment, we don't have to do that. And I'm like, how does that work? If you're in a federally funded or publicly funded program, you have assessments for your assessments and then some. Okay, so that brings us to hack number 7. Okay, so we're at the end of the pre-K teaching hacks. This is the 7th hack. So you've done all this marvelous, amazing stuff. You've created a PowerPoint presentation at the beginning of the year to start your year off right with parents. You've given them a printable version, a parent handbook that they can take with them. You've got your thematic activities, your lesson plans, you're organized, you've got your assessments. Now you're exhausted, right? You're completely exhausted, your immune system is depleted, and those kids are full of germs. So you need sub-plans, okay? So this came about because for me, I'm sick a lot. I have a weakened immune system. I get sick a lot. And creating sub-plans, substitute plans, I know some of you might call them relief teachers in other places, but somebody that comes in and takes your place when you're sick or you can't be there. It's very daunting, and quite often I would not call in sick when I should, because creating sub-plans is huge. It's a huge, huge, huge deal. So I call these things submare. Have you ever had a submare? It's when you have a nightmare about what will happen when you're gone from the classroom. I have those at back to school too. Those are called school mares. All right, so create a substitute plan in case of emergency. So my substitute plans are super, super, super detailed, because you can't just open the door at the end of the day and tell the little kids, bye-bye. You need to know where they go, and you're responsible for getting them there. So I take the responsibility and the safety of my students very seriously, as I know you do. So you want to have these really detailed sub-plans in place so that your kids are safe when you're gone. Everyone gets where they're supposed to go. Nobody gets hurt. And the sub feels comfortable and confident knowing what he or she is supposed to do. So having a sub plan in place, I have a printable one if you would like to use it. It's electronic, so you only have to enter the kids' names once, and then it auto-fills all the forms for you. So it's a super, super, super duper time saver. But you can totally make your own sub plans. Just be really detailed, really specific, because when it comes to little kids, if you're vague in the plans and your sub doesn't really get it, and maybe they've never worked with little kids before, it's going to definitely be lost in the translation. So I try to be as detailed as possible. I have tabbed dividers. I have lists for my lists. You name it. It doesn't have to be overwhelming though. So you can create your own, or you can look at the one that I have there at the link, and then bring on the germs, right? All right, so hey guys, in conclusion, I just want to thank you for watching tonight's broadcast. 7 pre-K teaching hacks, simple ways to save time in the classroom and get weeks of your year back. I want you to check out the free ebook if you're interested at all, or share it with your friends. Some of you have already read it. Some of you have commented that you've read it already. There's links to each of these things I've talked about in the ebook, so I've basically kind of walked you through it. Just gave you a brief overview of what's inside. So you can totally download it. It's free. And then you can click on all the links there and to take you to the different places and pre-K pages. And like I said, I created this to help teachers. I want to be the person who helps other teachers, because this type of stuff wasn't around when I was starting out, and I can only imagine what my life would be like now had I had all of this help that exists online these days for free. So check out that free 50-page Teaching Trailblazer. Check out the 7 pre-K teaching hacks free ebook. And don't forget, this broadcast is live every Monday and Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm Vanessa Levin from Pre-K Pages, and I really enjoyed talking with you tonight. I can't wait to go back and read the comments. I'm so sorry they froze up. I was getting really good at reading them too, and now they're gone.
A lot of people saying thank you.
Oh, is there anything, Tom, that you wanted to? Okay. All right. Well, guys, I will see you on the other side. Share this out with your friends if you think they can use it, and let me know where you're coming from in the comments. I'll see you Wednesday night. I think this next topic is going to be hot topics, so you want to stick around on Wednesday night for hot topics. Talk to you Wednesday. Bye, guys.